What's up everyone? Welcome to my weekly video number 3. As you can probably guess by the thumbnail, I went to the hospital. This week kind of started early Monday morning, really it was like Sunday night, and I had some infection, and nobody knows why it happened or what the cause was, but sometimes this is how it goes. As you know, I had to wait about 5 hours for a 30-minute treatment, so it was a real pain. A couple of the days this week were gone to rest and relaxation. But I'm happy to say that even though I did rest, I was able to get a good amount done during this week. This week, my primary objectives after recovery were first, to gather information and learn, and second, to email architecture firms and get my name out there. So my first objective of gathering information consists of really just learning and growing. Every week I try to learn as much relevant information as possible so that I can learn and grow and improve every week. And by relevant, I mean, things related to real estate, something that'll help you grow, something I'll learn from, and not just random scrolling. I do a lot of my learning on YouTube because YouTube has a wealth of information and it's free. I primarily focus on real estate related topics like architecture, design, and the nuances of everything related to the home building process. But another thing I do watch is I watch interviews with a lot of successful people to see what they do. Sometimes it may not be related to the industry that I'm in, but you can still gain insight from what they do and then it's transferable. One person who I definitely recommend watching is Jason Akhil. He's a spectacular agent in the Beverly Hills area and his interviews are just fantastic. Every time I watch one of them, I learn something new, and it's always something tangible and something I can take action on immediately. Another person that I watch from time to time is Graham Stephan. He has a ton of videos on real estate agent strategies, remodeling, real estate in general, investing, and just all kinds of things. It's definitely a great resource if you want to learn. I think overall, YouTube is definitely one of the best free resources out there. I think it's safe to call it like a modern library of knowledge. Knowledge! Other than YouTube, I read books too. My only problem with reading books though is that I have to actually sit there and read it line by line. So if it's at all possible, I like to listen to the books while I'm actually doing some work. I know it's not said to be the best combo, but I like to do two things at once. Another awesome thing about books is that you can find the older ones online for free. One book I really like is The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. This book really gives you an in-depth guide on how to close leads, how to get sales, how to do basically anything you want as a real estate agent. It even goes over how to scale. My only problem with the book is that it's a little dated, so it doesn't really have any of the information about social media or anything like that. And it's also really not made for it's just a really general book. It's not made for super high price point markets like Beverly Hills. So you're not going to see information about very unique transactions. One of the other books I'm reading is an accounting principles book. This book is very long, super boring, about 1,000 pages, but the information is really, really good. I'm going to be making income at some point. It's very important that I know how it's going to go, where it's going to go, how it's going to be recorded. So the only thing I would recommend about this book is that you know how much time you're going to dedicate to it, because since it's a 1,000-page book, it takes quite a while to read, so make sure you have the time on your hands. Finally, I think my most favorite book and the one I've learned the most from is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This book is awesome and it gives you an in-depth how-to guide on people and basically methods of communication. It really goes over how to express yourself properly and how you can actually get what you need from others. Overall, I would recommend anybody read this book, as this is something that will apply to anybody and can help anybody improve with their communication skills. I was able to get a good amount of reading done this week and that accomplished my first objective. My second objective was to send out as many emails as possible to architecture firms and architects and see if I could get back a response. And I was successful in doing this. And I'll go over right now what I look for and how I do it. So first we have to establish what is your goal when you're actually writing this email. What are you trying to get? For me, I'm trying to land an assistantship or an internship in an architecture firm. Now that you establish why you're doing this, now we can actually get started writing the email. So when you structure an email, you have to understand that people actually care about what they get from you and not what you want from them. So you have to always structure your email, and throughout the email, always say that you are going to be providing value to them. Make sure they understand that it's not a giving relationship, they're actually getting something from you. The first thing you want to have whenever you're sending out emails is a hook. What I normally do is I like to compliment the architect on what they're doing. So if they're an exceptional architect, I say, hey, you're clearly an exceptional architect. If I like a piece of their work, I'll reference that piece of work and I'll tell them why I like it. Another very important thing is a subject line. I would say it's equally as important as the hook because it's the first thing they see. I normally actually keep the hook and the subject line very, very similar. So if I think that they're an exceptional architect, then I'll put in the subject line, "You are an exceptional architect." Or if I think they did really, really nice on a certain project, then I'll put, "This project was amazing, I really liked it, XYZ, whatever I think about it." You really want to try your best to not make it sound like an ad, and you want to make it sound like you actually care, which you should, and it should come from the heart. After you have the subject line and the hook, it's time to go to the body. The main thing in the body is you want to explain who you are, what you stand for, and why you can help them. But what I say normally is, I can see that you're an exceptional architect, and I believe with my skills I can actually help ease your workload. And then I go on to say, "I'm 18, I've done this, 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 and my skills are this and this." When you're writing it, you want to make sure it sounds authentically you, and it has your touch on it, and you want to make it so that it sounds like you're writing it. Once you have a great body paragraph, it's about 2 to 3 sentences long, the next step is to have like a decent conclusion. Here you want to say thank you, you always want to make sure to appreciate, and also to say something nice, like "See you soon," "I hope I'll be working with you soon," something like that, so that you can open the door for future interactions. Also, you want to make sure to leave your contact information, probably your phone number and your email. I also always attach my resume as a PDF with the email. It's really great if they want to look through, and it has all my history, what I've done, it has my LinkedIn on it, and it also has links to other things that I've created. Overall, throughout the email, you want to make sure that you show that you're very enthusiastic and you're there to help. The way I see it, they're almost like the customer receiving the product, and you are the product trying to provide as much value as possible for as little or no work on their part. Especially if you get a phone call interview or maybe an in-person interview, you want to make sure that you emphasize that you are there to provide value, not to take from them, not to do anything else other than help them and learn at the same time. So for me, this week I was only really able to email about 30 to 40 people, which is actually a very, very small amount. Normally every week I email at least a couple hundred people. I was able to get 1 phone call this week from those emails, but that isn't the normal ratio. Once you actually start getting like a phone call or a phone interview or an in-person interview, I would say it takes about 1 to 2 weeks to actually develop that relationship and see it come into fruition. This week was a great week. I was able to achieve both of my primary objectives, so it was pretty awesome. Even though my plans never go according to plan, my plan for next week is to probably email more people, read a lot more, and hopefully maybe fly to an architecture firm in the sky. Alright, bye. See you guys next week, and don't forget to like and subscribe.